talking about Millwall finishing on 68. Coventry could. It just depends what Middlesbrough do on that last day of the season, but they could be going into it with 69. I think they've got Birmingham at home, which is an all right fixture, and Sunderland have got Watford at home. And, if Watford had no intensity when they could make the playoffs, what are they going to be like now they can't make it? Hey, look, they'll probably win 4-0 now, Watford, won't they? all their expensive players will probably show up and play beautifully, won't they? And
with no pressure. Yeah, you're right. It's true.
There's a lot of head-to-heads as well, Joe, isn't there? There's Norwich, West Brom. I believe Preston have to go to Sheffield United. I'm trying to remember all the fixtures. There's so many permutations.
Yeah, so Preston play Sheffield United, then I think Preston then play at home to Sunderland. And again, I can see the last one there, Preston Sunderland being a 0-0 draw. Preston are quite sort of strong defensively. Sunderland, they don't score.
I reckon if Sunderland can get in the playoffs, I reckon over 50% of that stadium will be Sunderland fans on that last day. So that could seriously, that could be one of those mad last days where Sunderland just get roared over the line somehow.
Well, when we play them at our ground this season, I mean, we very rarely, as you know, we very rarely give the bottom tier away because we try and keep it very kind of, segregated with the fans, away fans. But they feel that home and away, and they were loud and they were standing up the whole game.
Joe, I was at the playoff final when they went up, and I could get any seat I wanted with the Wycombe fans. And then you looked around at the Sunderland, and I think it was 40,000 of them, completely full right up to the top of Wembley. Yeah, brilliant.
Incredible fan base, big following, don't they? Yeah. So that can make a difference as well, like you're saying, Benjamin. That could be so that can kind of help them get across the line as well for them. How about yourself, Chris?
Yeah. So I think if we win, if we get 6 points for the next 2 games, I think we will be in the playoffs. I still hold that belief because I think agree. Someone will slip up, and I think it's so close. I genuinely think that. Do I think we will get the 6 points? The answer to that question is no. So therefore, I don't think we'll end up in the playoffs. What I would say is, barring Swansea, which I'll talk about in a second, I think the top 6 as it stands now, with Coventry and Sunderland in the top 6, is the best 6 teams in the league, in my opinion.
Chris, can we be very honest about this? Whoever gets in 5th and 6th are not as good as Luton and Middlesbrough. That would be the hot bet to be the final as well. I know it doesn't always work out like that, but it does feel like 2 at the top, better than everybody else. The next 2 reasonably close to the top 2, but not good enough. And then, like you say, complete wacky races for 5th and 6th.
100%. I would just say, in terms of, from what I have seen, the best of the rest would be Coventry and Sunderland, and I think they've got 1 or 2 individuals, and they play a nice style on the eye as well, both of them, which I always
goals, which helps
exactly, which I appreciate. I also think Swansea and they've come from nowhere, and since we've beaten them, I think they've won 5 or 6 on the bounce. And what I find really, really interesting is, I'm sure every Millwall fan watching this has probably spent the last sort of week or so being like, if we'd have just got 1 more point, we'd be in a different position. But then I think about Swansea, who are 3 points behind us, and we taken 4 points off them this season. We got 2 last 2-minute goals to equalise at their place, and we didn't deserve anything. And then somehow, after they played us off the park, we beat them at home 2-1. And they're probably thinking the same, So that's how fine margins this league is, right? Where, we're like, we should have got something at Hull. We should have got something against Birmingham, Huddersfield. But they'll be feeling equally aggrieved. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that it kind of always evens itself out somewhere along the lines. And I think whoever ends up in those sort of 5th and 6th places, it is wacky races. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And they would have deserved to have got there. So, yes. So none of us, is anyone can we put our neck on the line and just go with our 5th and 6th?
I went for one or other of Coventry and Sunderland, and with some very perverse logic, because everything was telling me that Blackburn weren't going to get in. They had the hardest run in. They had a game in hand, but that didn't matter. They've got to go to Millwall on the last day. And Blackburn have been very confusing statistically this season. All their numbers have had them looking like a mid-table team, but then they weren't. And then when their numbers were good, they're